CHIPS.ACT, and I'm gonna go ahead and recite, say it again. I'm starting over since I had to go and do a mic check. Let's start all over. Here we go. My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence. My brain symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. I'm always poised, balanced, serene, and calm. Because I know that God will. He will always provide the perfect solution to every single one of my needs. Not just some of my needs. Every single one of my needs. You say amen. I say, God, you promised. You say, Selah. I say, God, you promised. God is going to keep his promises, huh? I told y'all last week when they was up there walking around my house and doing all that they was doing up there to Electric Brotherhood. They want me to be quiet, so they got to find a way to make me be quiet but they have to remain inconspicuous. Huh? uh, like I said, I had no intention. I had everything set up for me to be talking about the coral. But I guess soon as they put the hit out yesterday in Federal Register, you could go to Federal Register yourself. Go type in Coral Task Force. They put a Coral Task Force out today. The day before yesterday. Because I was talking about the coral the day before. So I want to stay talking about the coral. I don't know. That must be something dangerous that they got to send a task force out for the coral. I done heard of all kinds of task force. Bomb squad task force. Drug task force. Immigration task force. You mean to tell me something in the sea need a whole task force? Unless it's just symbology. It's just symbolic of something, huh? What are you over there talking about? Did you go to get blessings to initiate this Sabbath Eve War of the Roses? Do you know a Sabbath Eve before May is a celebration for witches? I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. This is a fact in history. Any celebration and festivities held the week before is usually founded on the foundation of it extends back in history based on a witch's Sabbath celebration. Do you know what you celebrating when you celebrate certain things? Why it's being celebrated? They can go and switch up the stories and make the story look right. But like saying, well, the first celebration about it had to do with the Georgia State Fair. But then when you go and look at the history, that all of Georgia State Fairs was held in around November. I'm just saying. I didn't want to do this. They forced me to do it by having this internet so that now all of my computer, I could take my phone and do the, hotspot it and do the, I don't want to do that. I don't want to pull all that from my phone. I don't want to do that. So like I said, I sat here and tried to be patient. And I guess God said, look, I want you to look at it. No, I don't want to talk about that. And all that keep coming into my mind is, I come to the garden alone. happened? Let me tell you. Okay, so yesterday when I woke up, my service was out. And so I made the phone call because I don't know. I don't know if they felt like my phone service was just connected to Wi-Fi or what. I don't know. But I made the phone call and they narrowed it down by my unit number. But usually if there's an outage, your unit has nothing to do with the outage. Unless it's just specific to your unit has a light outage, and so your modem will be out too. So when I made the phone call, they said, "Oh, there's an outage somewhere in the community, but let me have your unit number." Yep, there's an outage. We don't know when it'll be back up. That happened yesterday. And then when I went and looked at the outages in the areas, there was no outage. So I was all right with that. I was like, they didn't do nothing but give me something else to do, something construct. I went and washed off my porch. I always could find other things to do. Now, but today this morning, I had a script interview, right? So I needed the Wi-Fi today. I had a script, read a script interview, right? So I guess God say, nope, I don't want you to do that either, huh? So you gonna have to reschedule that or whatever you gonna have to do. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that. I don't believe they knew that, unless that's just part of the simulation. It's like, let's have her discouraged. If internet service out, she should definitely, because I have to be hooked into reliable Wi-Fi in order to get or obtain the positions that I'm trying to do. So I looked at that. I didn't get discouraged at all. I said, hey, it is. God is ordering y'all steps too. But then okay, well, if the outages happened yesterday, are they going to be doing a test, an outage every single day of the week or something? Let me call them and ask. Let me tell you something. I haven't heard this sound in years. So I called and it said, beep, 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 beep. I said, ain't nowhere in the world. I don't know when the last time I heard a busy signal on a phone. Hey, boy. Hey, when is the last time you heard or maybe the busy signal tone from the 80s and the 90s? Beep, 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 beep. I said, so now you know. Half it. I say, you know what? Okay, don't worry about it because it ain't stopping nothing. Go ahead, reschedule whatever, and continue with the day. Find something else to do. I found all kinds of things to do. I plugged up every little hole that I see spiders would come through. Because, with my grandkids, I done sprayed all outside. Because the only pest that I see within this, living in these woods, is the spiders. So I did that. I found all kinds of. I finished up the doll that I'm doing with for my granddaughter, the one that I showed about the love story, the ceramic clown that I bought for my son when I was pregnant with my son out of Atlanta, and I told y'all I was gonna make it. Well, I worked on that. Got all kind of things to do this morning, and then after that beep, beep, beep tone, beep, beep, I said, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way. Let me find something else to do because this is just hilarious. So I text my daughter. I said, well, if it's such an outage like that, then it would be, in probably where she's at, depending on which provider. Because there's only 3 providers of the area, but this provider takes the majority of the town that I'm in. So she was like, no, why? I was like, is your system down? She's like, no, why? And I explained, and she's like, nope, our provider is such and such and such. I was like, oh, okay. So then I took the chance to call again immediately after I finished texting her. Then I was finally able to get. So that was like 2 hours of beep, 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 beep. And then as soon as I finished communicating with her, then the lines opened up. And so it sounded like, I don't know if he just got a lot of calls coming in. He was already frustrated, sound like as soon as he heard my voice. And I didn't even say, I said, I just wanted to know if, how long is this outage going to be? He didn't say what unit you in, where you at, or nothing, right? He said, well, a tree fell down. And it hit the fiber optic line that covers all of the east side. So I'm on the east side of town now, y'all, right? I was like, all of the tree fell down? I said, well, is that what the reason why it was out yesterday, but it came back up yesterday? So he said, he paused for a minute. He was like, well, I don't know what happened yesterday, but today a tree fell down. So symbolic. So the tree falls on the fiber optic Wi-Fi. Yesterday, the lights went out wherever. Because yesterday when I called him again, my lights weren't out, but my modem was blinking. It was up. But today, now it's a tree. A tree fell down. And whatever fiber optic wire it fell on, he said you may not get service till way later this evening. Ain't no telling. And I don't know what happened yesterday. He said that with an attitude. I don't know what happened yesterday, but today a tree fell. I said, okay, all right, honey. It's okay. I just asking now. So I said, well, maybe they think that's going to stop me from going live. Maybe they know because they've been following me that today, because it is the beginning of their witches Sabbath celebration, that I may go and start talking about it, which I had no intent on doing it. It's only because y'all turned off the Wi-Fi that I had to sit here because I didn't want to use no hotspot on my computer to open up dictionaries when I was supposed to be reading about the coral for it to fall open. Look, it fell right on, fell right here, right on witches marks, right here. Math of the witches Sabbaths, all this. Look at this, right here. The reason why I came back is to go over, hold up, what is it telling me to do? Orientation back. My orientation sideways, I guess. I done did something when I picked up the phone. Whatever it is I did, my orientation is sideways. Oh, well. Let's see. If I do this orientation sideways again, will it revise? Did y'all see what it is I was showing you? No. Okay. All right. So now I'm back, and I'm going to go ahead and start with Job. I just want to read. I'm not going to focus on the lies and holy days and Sabbath ways. I'm not going to focus on, I don't watch TV. But my granddaughter was adamant that I watch Spiderwick Chronicles with her, the new remake of Spiderwick Chronicles. And everything about Chronicles seems to be a story like what comes out of this town right here, the heart of the antebellum. The heart where the big oak tree lies, and the stories of the Wars of the Roses is not told in all of its truth. And their Victorian Christmases, all the celebrations that come out of here. And that what's his name? The head honcho in charge of Department of Defense. This is his hometown. And I know for a fact, him and Warnock, he makes sure Warnock keep a lookout on what's going around in his hometown. And the Buffalo Soldier, all the different simulations that come out of this heart of the antebellum, all of the firsts. Talking about roses on May Day. May Day. I'm asking out loud one more time. Warnock, what were you over there talking to the Pope? Are you still over there? Did you go and get blessings before the purple moon? Y'all think it's been purple rain. That moon is not going to be pink. It's only going to look pink to y'all because all y'all who looked up at the eclipse has a haze. There's a haze over your eyes. That moon is going to be purple. They only have 2 purple moons in here. And every time there's a great reset, there's a purple moon. And now this moon is going to be purple, but your phones are not going to show it as purple. And those who got blinded looking up at the eclipse are not going to see it in purple. They're letting you see it in pink. Go tell somebody I'm not making it up. It's going to be a purple moon. Now, according to their almanacs and their lies, the next purple moon isn't until 2045. That's not true. That purple moon is happening historically. It's facts. I ain't pulling it out of nothing. It's facts. Let me go ahead and read and focus on ooh. Ooh. I saw something here about Job, where Job cursed the day of his birth. Oh boy. Job asked God a lot of questions. He asked God a lot of questions. Woo. He asked, you have some friends that answered Job. I want to know, I'm trying to see if I should start at the beginning. You know what? I just may. Yeah, let me do that. I got time. Job is tested. Job 1. There lived in a land of Uz. You can say Uz, Uz, Oz. Uh, a good man who feared. Why is my. Oh, come on now. Let me fix this. I don't like this. I don't like the way my phone is turned. And I'm not showing myself, not because I don't want to show myself. Y'all know I show myself every day. I just. Come on. Nope, it's not doing it. It's not letting me fix whatever direction it's in. Okay. All right. There lived in the land of Uz a man named Job, a good man who feared God and stayed away from evil. He had a large family of 7 sons and 3 daughters and was immediately wealthy, for he owned 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, 500 teams of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and employed many servants. He was, in fact, the richest cattleman in the entire area. Every year when Job's sons had birthdays, they invited their brothers and sisters to their homes for a celebration. On these occasions, they would eat and drink with their great merriment. When these birthday parties ended, and sometimes they lasted several days, Job would summon his children to him and sanctify them, getting up early in the morning and offering a burnt offering for each of them. For Job said, perhaps my sons have sinned and turned away from God in their hearts. This was Job's regular practice. Hey, me reading this, I want to send this message to the great Brian McKnight and all that's happening in the news and how people are going to make things look. Huh? I don't know. I don't know the story. I'm not trying to indulge in the story, but because I overheard it, I say that this message be for you right here. This message is for you, Brian McKnight, and your sons. Huh? And your children. All of your children. No matter what happened in the past, and to his son, you may be opening a can of worms about your mother that your mother may not want spilt all over the land. So here to the Honorable Brian McKnight, please look at Job 1 and maybe follow that example right there versus saying the things that you're saying in your heart. Use the word as your weapon. Use the word. Someone get I'll tag Brian McKnight. I'll tag him. Use the word as your weapon. Remember, this is the weapon. So Job 1 is for you and your family. And let me read that again. Job would go early in the morning, offering a burnt offering for each of them. Your offering is your song. Your offering is your song. The same way you felt all them years ago before your son was born. Huh? Go back to your first love. I have been so far away. Go back to your first love. Go back to your song. That's your offering. And then have a celebration where all the brothers and sisters come together. And perhaps all of the family have sinned and turned away from God in their hearts. But the same way you found your way back, this is your regular, make it your regular practice, huh? Don't let the media come in between your ordered steps. One day, as the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, Satan and the accuser came with them. Where have you come from? The Lord asked Satan. And Satan replied, from earth, where I've been watching everything that's going on. Like the media, you watching everything. And the Lord asked Satan, have you noticed my servant Job? He is the finest man in all the earth. And a good man who fears God. He will walk the tightrope. He ain't scary. But he will walk, he know to look and keep his eyes on me and walk straight and narrow, because he know if he look to the side or look down too far to the right, he might fall off the rope. He ain't scary, but he fears. He fears to the point where he say, I'm going to keep looking forward to whence coming my source of light. That's what he said. A good man who fears God will have nothing to do with evil. Nothing. Why shouldn't he when you pay him so well? What? That's how Satan was like, look, you give him everything he need. You pay him real good. Of course he ain't thinking about evil, You have always protected him and his home and his property from all harm. You have prospered everything he does. Look how rich he is. Sound like the devil was more worried about his money. The devil must have been broke. The devil came to steal his money. The devil was broke. No wonder he worships you. But just take away his wealth and you'll see him curse your face. And the Lord replied to Satan, you may do anything you like with his wealth, but don't harm him physically. So Satan went away. And sure enough, not long afterwards, when Job's sons and daughters were dining at the oldest brother's house, tragedy struck. A messenger rushed into Job's home with news. Your oxen were plowing and a donkey feeding beside them. When the Sabians raided us, see, that's why I never claimed Sabians. Who are the Sabians? It say the Sabians raided us, drove away the animals, and killed all the farmlands except me. I'm the only one left. So all of the farmers got killed. Everything got wiped away. While this messenger was still speaking, another arrived, one more with bad news. The fire of God had fallen from heaven. See how he lied on God immediately. The first thing he said is God did it. When at the beginning of the story, you see it said God didn't do it. It say, God has fallen from heaven and burnt up your sheep and all the herdsmen, and I alone have escaped to tell you. Before this man finished, still another messenger rushed in. I mean, they was coming back to back with the messages. 3 bands of Chaldeans had driven off your camels and killed your servants. I'm alone, the only one that escaped to tell you. As he was still speaking, another arrived to say, your sons and daughters were feasting in their oldest brother's home, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and engulfed the house, so that the roof fell in on them and all were dead. I alone escaped to tell you. Then Job stood up and tore his robe in grief and fell down upon the ground before God. I came naked from my mother's womb, He said, and all I have, nothing, and I shall have nothing when I die. And the Lord gave me everything I had, and they were his to take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And all of this, Job did not sin or revile God. Job said it was God who gave it to me, God who blessed me with it. For the time that he did allow me to have it. And not that it didn't hurt him. Yeah, he cried, huh? Yeah, he felt some type of way, but he didn't turn his back on God, huh? Say, God, this stuff was here before I got here. And then the stuff that came after, you created it just for my pleasure, right? You gave it to me as a gift. Now the angels came again to present themselves before the Lord. But see, I know too that Job, even though the farmers in the dell would come and tell him that God did it. Now the angels, so that's the best part of this story, the part that people miss. First off, who the raiders were. They were the Sabaeans in one scenario. In the next scenario, there was a farmer or a herder who blamed God. The next one was the Chaldeans, who were killers. And then the next one was the weather and the environment. Now the angels came again to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan with them. Now see, this doesn't say that the demons came with Satan. It says the angels came with Satan. Where have you come from? The Lord asked. From earth. Meaning, listen, remember those 72 fallen angels that Solomon used? Those 72 fallen angels still here, Roman. 72 fallen angels that abide by the rules of Satan. Well, then he did get locked down. But those 72 angels are still, to this day, they continue to build for the keys of Solomon. He said, where have you come from? The Lord asked. From earth. Meaning, the angels and Satan, they would go from planet to planet. Every time he finished, he may go from one planet to the next. So every time he came back to talk to God, God, what planet you come from now? Oh, I was at Earth this time, where I have been watching everything that's going on, Satan replied. Well, have you noticed my servant Job, the Lord asked? He is the finest in all of the earth, and God, a good man who fears God and turns away from evil. And he has kept his faith in me despite the fact that you persuaded me to let you harm him without a cause. Huh? The devil have some type of persuasion over God too. Ooh, woo. Skin for skin, Satan replied. Who's a skin? I don't know who all the skins are, but I know if you go to Wikipedia right now and you look at George W.H. Bush, his name is Skin. They called him Skin. That's his tag name, Skin. So that was his response to God, skin for skin. A man will give anything to save his life. Touch his body with sickness, and he will curse you to your face. Do with him as you please, the Lord replied, only spare his life. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with a terrible case of boils from head to foot. Then Job took a broken piece of pottery and scraped himself and sat on some ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still trying to be godly? When God has done all this to you, curse him and die." But he replied, "You talk like some heathen woman. What? Shall you receive only pleasant things from the hand of God all these years and never anything unpleasant?" So this Job is nothing wrong. Job said nothing wrong. So in all this said nothing wrong. Job said nothing wrong. So his wife was like, "I don't want to be connected to your crazy. You must be crazy. Talking about God like that, honoring God like that. Saying that you went through this, and that, and you still got all this love in your heart, and you still want to worship God. Right now, we could go and you could get healed. How about our witch doctors? I could just imagine all the things she just sat there trying to convince him. But the main thing is she talked to him like he was crazy. She didn't want to be associated with his crazy. Then his friends came. Job's friends gathered. When 3 of Job's friends heard all of the tragedy that had befallen him, they got in touch with each other and traveled from their homes to comfort and console him. Their names was Eliphaz, Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamatite. The Naamatite. Oh, Naamatite. There we go. Job was so changed that they could scarcely recognize him. Wailing loudly in despair, they tore their robes and threw dust in the air and put earth on their heads to demonstrate their sorrow. Then they sat up upon the ground with him silently for 7 days and nights, no one speaking a word, for they saw that his suffering was too great for words. So, wow. He had friends that came and sat with him. I think that's a good thing. First round of discussion. Job curses his birth. At last, after the 7 days, Job spoke and cursed the day of his birth. "Let the day of my birth be cursed," he said, "and the night when I was conceived. Let that day be forever forgotten. Let it be lost even to God, shrouded in eternal darkness. Yes, let the darkness claim it for its own, and may a black cloud overshadow it. May it be blotted off the calendar, never again to be counted among the days of the month of that year. Let the night bleak and joyless. Let those who are experts at cursing curse it. Let the stars of the night disappear. Let the long for the light, but never see it. Never see the morning light. Curse it for its failure to shut my mother's womb. For let me be born to come to all this trouble." Hey, I wanted to say something. Now, see this verse right here? I was thinking about this earlier. Again, that's how I ended up in the dictionary. I was going to a couple of words like the coral and then the womb. That's how I ended up in the W's. Being real. And But I never made it to the W's because it opened straight up to the womb because it went straight into which. But I had a thought about the womb. A lot of people say that the mother's stomach, where it holds the placenta and the liquids, that's the womb, and that's not the womb. The womb is the entrance to earth, where the thighs or the coccyx spreads for the child to come forth. And there are some beings that never come through the womb. That naturally, particular beings are built where they carry the baby as an egg, and the egg has to be cracked. And not because of science or medicines or the mother not being, it's just naturally. There are some women, they have used C-sections as a science, but there are some beings where the womb is an egg. I mean, the place of the birth is an egg, and that egg has to be cracked, and they never make it through the womb. And I'm saying that from experience. Like, I'm gonna use me as an example. My coccyx never spread. I never dilated. It was meant for me for my egg to be cracked. Each birth the same. And it's something in our genetics that show that that's how it would be. Now, I don't know if that's the attachment of the light that comes through, but it's just something that I decided that I would research on a little bit more. So there's beings that come through the womb. They come naturally through the womb. And the womb itself is not that space that holds, that is so strategically woven to hold your light. The womb is that passage through the uterus to come out into the world. And so I stop. Let me stick on the story. But I just thought I'd mention that in this verse here, Job 3, verse 10. And the fact that he says it right here confirms my thought about that. Curse it for failure to shut my mother's womb. A womb is a open source. It's not a closed, dark space. It's an open source that is prone to infections and different things. It's open. So as women, we keep the womb covered. But the womb itself is not the container that holds the light of who you are. The womb is that space right before you enter into the light of the world, into this simulation. Why didn't I die at birth? Why did the midwife let me live? Why did she nurse me at her breast? For if I had died at birth, when I would Then I would be quiet now, asleep and at rest, along with prime ministers and kings, with all their pomp, and wealthy princes whose castles are full of rich treasures. See what he said? Listen to this. He said if he was at sleep, if he was asleep and at rest, he would be on the side of prime ministers and kings, with all their pomp, and wealthy princes whose castles are full of rich treasures. Now, didn't I just read something the other day about Merrick in his creation of Coral Gables, and how the king of Spain at the time in the early 1900s was so impressed with his creation of the simulation of Coral Gables. And his motto was, where your castles come to life. I just read that yesterday. And here, right here, when Job describes his yearning to have not been born, he would prefer that he would be at rest and be on the side of ministers and kings and princesses whose castles are full and rich of treasure. That's what he knew and learned about death, as one who was a servant of God. His knowledge about the birth in the womb is right here. Where the womb is not the egg, it is not the form of the egg. The womb is the entry where the man enters to put the seed. That's the womb. That knowledge is right here in 3:10. His knowledge as a servant or a light being is right here. And again, notice what he says about the treasures. Then he says, oh, to have been stillborn, to never have breathed or seen the light. For there in death the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary are at rest. There even prisoners are at ease, with no brutal jailer to curse them. Both rich and poor alike are there, and the slave is free at last from his master. Oh, why should light and life be given to those in misery and bitterness who long for death, and it won't come? Why should light and life be given to those in misery and bitterness who long for death, and it won't come? Who search for death as others search for food and money? What blessed relief when at last they die. Why is this man allowed to be born if God is only going to give him hopeless life of uselessness and frustration? I cannot eat from sighing. My groans pour out like water. What I always feared has happened to me. I was not fat and lazy, yet trouble struck me down. That's something my grandmother always said. She said, one thing about it, you're not lazy. A reply to Job from Eliphaz and Temanite. So now his first set of friends, he says this in his wanting to share what his experience, but not sharing it where he want to turn away from God. So let's see what his friends have to say to encourage him. Will you let me say a word? For who could keep from speaking out? In the past, you have told many a troubled soul to trust in God and have encouraged those who were weak or fallen, or lie crushed upon the ground, or are tempted to despair. But now, when trouble strikes, you faint and are broken. At such a time as this, should not trust in God still be your confidence? Shouldn't you believe that God will care for those who are good? Stop and think. Have you ever known truly a good and innocent person who was punished? Now he reminded him that he ain't punished at all. Experience teaches that it is those who sow sin and trouble harvest the same. They die beneath the hand of God. Though they are fierce as young lions, they shall be broken and destroyed. Like aged, helpless lions, they shall starve, and all their children shall be scattered. Uh-oh, sound like his friend throwing shade. Thus truth was given me in secret, as though whispered in my ear. It came in a nighttime vision, and as others slept. Let's hurry up, and hopefully he's not. Suddenly fear gripped me. I'm trembled and shook with terror as the spirit before my face. My hair stood up on the end. I felt the spirit's presence, but couldn't see it standing there. Then out of the dreadful silence came a voice. Is mere man more than just God? More pure than his creator? If God could not trust his own messengers, for even angels make mistakes, how much less men made of dust who are crushed to death as easily as moths? They are alive in the morning, but by evening they are dead, gone forever with hardly a thought from anyone. Their candle of life snuffed out. They die and no one cares. Then cry for help, but no one listens. They cry for help, but no one listens. They turn to their gods, but no one gives them aid. They die in helpless frustration, overcome by their own anger. Those who turn from God may be successful for a moment, but then comes sudden disaster. Their children are cheated, with no one to defend them. Their harvests are stolen, their wealth slakes in thirst of many others, not themselves. Misery comes upon them to punish them for sowing seeds of sin. Mankind heads for sin and misery as predictably as flames shoots upwards from a fire. May I advise you is this: go to God and confess your sins to him, for he does wonderful miracles, marvels without number. He sends rain upon the earth to water the fields. It gives prosperity to the poor and humble, and it takes sufferers safely. I told you right then, automatically, he feel like he done sinned. He frustrates the plans of the crafty men. They are caught in their own traps and their thwart schemes. They grope like blind men in the daylight. They see no better in the daytime than at night. God saves the fatherless and the poor from the grasp of these oppressors. And so at last the poor have hope, and the fangs of the wicked are broken. How inevitable the man whom God corrects. Oh, do not despise the chastening of the Lord when you sin. For though he wounds, he binds, he heals again. He will deliver you again and again, so that no evil can touch you. He will keep you from death and famine, and from the power of the sword in the time of war. You will be safe from slander, no need to fear the future. You shall laugh at war and famine. Wild animals will leave you alone. Dangerous animals will be at peace with you. You need not worry about your home while you are gone. Nothing shall be stolen from your barns. Your sons shall become important men. Your descendants shall be as numerous as grass. You shall live a long, good life like standing grain. You should not be harvested until it's time. I have found from my experience that all of this is true. For your own good, listen to my counsel. And then here's what Job had to say. Oh, that my sadness and troubles are weighed, for they are heavier than the sand of 1,000 seashores. That is why I spoke so rashly. For the Lord has struck me down with his arrows. He has sent poison arrows deep within my heart. All God's terrors are arrayed against me. When wild donkeys bray, it is because their grass is gone. Oxen do not low when they have food. A man complains when there is no salt on his food. And how tasteless is the uncooked white of the egg. My appetite is gone when I look at it. I gag at the thought of eating it. Oh, that God would grant that thing that I long for the most, to die beneath his hands and be freed from his painful grip. This at least gives me comfort in despite and all the pain, and that I have not denied the words of the Holy God. Oh, why does my strength sustain me? How can I be patient till I die? Am I unfeeling like a stone in my flesh made of brass? For I'm utterly helpless without any hope. Oh, one should be kind to a fainting friend, but you have accused me without the slightest fear of God. See? You see? You see? I knew that part was coming. I knew that part was coming because the first thing that he said before he went into his spiel about how holy he is, it was like me when I was out there them 5 months, homeless. The first thing that people want to think when they see you, when you get in a situation where you down, is that you done committed some type of sin, or you out there doing something ain't no way in the world, and you got all that praise you faking and fronting somewhere. I had one of the girls that I pulled close to me, supposed to be been a friend, couldn't stand and would make little throw off remarks because even though I was in that situation, I would not turn my back on God, and I would not do the things that would be unpleasant to God. I'd wait. So while others may have had to prostitute or trick or do all that, I wouldn't turn on God. I'd say, look, God, I know you're going to take care of me. You're going to supply my needs. And I'm not going to have to ask nobody for it. And I'm not going to have to do anything that presents itself as evil in your eyes. And that's the same thing for these same 33 years. The first thing they say, have you ever seen somebody innocent and not committing sin go through all that you went through? Nah, you had to do something. You guilty. You guilty of something. Job say, look, what kind of friend are you? Huh? What kind of friend are you? Oh, okay, y'all hold. I'll be right back if somebody here with me. It don't look like nobody here with me, but I'll be right back. Yeah, how are you? All right. thank you. I forgot. Okay, all right. Look, so I see my neighbor across the way. He's still, I guess, waiting for his service to come back up. They playing. They playing. All right, back to Joe. You know, so his friend, what kind of being was he? Let's see what his name was. Let me highlight his name. And see which church that falls under. Um, his friend Elipaz, Eli, and then the Temans, right? They should both had the same type of thought. They both had the same type of thought. Have you ever known a truly good, innocent person who was punished? The ones who keep the dirty little secrets, they don't deal with no type of punishment. Huh? They don't deal with no type of punishment. They make scenarios for themselves and cry about it. But at the end, the reward for those who go through things to be tested and proven that you don't just love God or you worshiping God because of your the benefits. And that's what he had to go through. This wasn't no test because he sinned. Every time I almost lost my mind, every time that I did, or went into darkness, and all the walks that I did in different pathways, you'll have the preachers and the preachers' mothers and the mothers of the church and all of them assume that I was living in sin because of the trials that plagued me for the 33 years. Let me continue what he had to say. Oh, one should be the kind of friend, one should be kind to a fainting friend, but you have accused me without the slightest fear of God. My brother, you have proved as unreliable as a brook. You sat here with me for 7 days. It floods when there is ice and snow, but in hot weather, it disappears. The caravans turn aside to be refreshed, but there is nothing there to drink, and so they perish. When caravans come from Timah, I knew Timah was a place, and from Sheba, stop for water there. Their hopes are dashed, and so many hopes in you are dashed. You turn away from me in terror and refuse to help me. But why? Have I ever asked you for one slightest thing? Have I begged you for a present? Have I ever asked you for your help? All I want is a reasonable answer. Then I will keep quiet. Tell me, what have I done wrong? It was wonderful to speak the truth, but your criticisms are not based on facts. Huh. Are you going to condemn me just because I impulsively cried out in desperation. That would be like injuring a helpless orphan or selling a friend. Look at me. Would I lie to your face? Stop assuming my guilt, for I am righteous. Don't, don't be so unjust. Don't I know the difference between right and wrong? Would I not admit if I had sinned? How mankind must struggle. A man's life is long and hard, like that of a slave. How he longs for the day to end. How he grinds on to the end of the week and his wages. And so to me also have been allotted months of frustration, these long, weary nights when I go to bed and think, oh, that it were morning, and I would toss till dawn. My skin is filled with worms and blackness. My flesh breaks open, full of pus. My life drags by day after a hopeless day. My life is but a breath, and nothing good is left. You see me now, but not for long. Soon you will look up upon me dead, as a cloud disappears and vanishes. So those who die shall go away forever, gone forever from their family and their home, never to be seen again. Ah, let me express my anguish. Let me be free to speak out the bitterness in my soul. Oh God, am I some monster that you never let me alone? Even when I try to forget my misery in my sleep, you terrified with nightmares. That nightmare I had last, that wasn't really, I don't have nightmares. But if you would want to, I could make it into a nightmare if I wanted to, the dream that I had. But I saw it for what it was. I would rather die a strangulation than to go on like this. I hate my life. Oh, let me alone for these few remaining days. What is a mere man that you should spend your time persecuting him? Must you be the inquisitor every morning and test him every moment of the day? Why won't you let me alone? Even long for enough to spit. Has my sin harmed you, O God, watcher of mankind? Why have you made me your target and made my life so heavy a burden to me? Why not just pardon my sin and take it all away? For all too soon I'll die down in the dust and die. I'll lie down in the dust and die. And then you will look at me, I shall be gone. Here's another of his set of friends. The Bildad and the shoes. Remember I was talking about the shoes the other day. I say if the shoe fit, then sue. How long would you go on like this, Job? Blowing words around like the wind. All you doing is talking. You go here, hit the live, and then somebody like Void come along and say, you still at it, huh? You still at it. Void is related to Bildad or Shuhite. Bildad or Shuhite. Void is related to Bildad or Shuhite. Which one you related to, Void? Huh? Which one you related to? I want to pin your message. Let me pin your message. Nope, not that one. I don't want to pin that one. Let me pin your message, Void. Which one you related to, Void? Wait a minute. It's this one. Yep. That's the one. Huh? You come in like The shoes. You come in like the shoes. Let me read what the shoes had to say. With his friends. They supposed to be his friends, right? They say, how long you gonna go on like this, Joe, blowing words around like the wind? You back at it, huh? Does God twist justice? If your children sinned against him and he punished them and you begged Almighty God for them, if you were pure and good, he would hear your prayer, right? And answer you, right? And bless you with a happy home, right? And although you started with little, you would end up with much, right? Read the history books and see, huh? Who wrote them history books? For we were born but yesterday, and know so little. Our days here on earth are as transient as shadows. See the words they use in transient? That means they work for the government. Huh? So, let's see. Yep. Bildad and Shuhites. They were government workers. Huh? Read what's written on those scripts in the courthouses, huh? Read them books and our transient laws that as the shadow bands. But the wisdom of the past will teach you. The experience of others will speak to you, reminding you that those who forgot God have no hope. They are like rushes without any mire to grow in, or grass without water to keep it alive. Suddenly it begins to wither, even before it is cut. A man without God is trusting in the spider's web, Charlotte's Web, right here at the great Georgia Fair of Roses. A man without God is trusting in the spider's web. Everything he counts on will collapse. If he counts on his home for security, it won't last. At dawn, he seems so strong and virile, like a green plant. His branches spread across the garden. His roots are at the stream, down among the stones. But when he disappears, he isn't even missed. This is all he can look forward to, and the others spring up on the earth and replace him. But look, God will not cast away a good man, nor prosper evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy. Those who hate you will be clothed in shame, and the wicked destroyed. Now they trying to teach him something he already know, right? And they like throwing shade, huh? And at the end of the day, he let them know when he was talking to the other ones. He said, y'all ain't even been here. And the times I have been around you, even if I came to you as a friend, did I ever ask you for anything? As a matter of fact, I gave you more in their times of helping me than you ever did for me. And I know it's a fact. It don't matter who you are. Those who ain't for you, they ain't gonna miss you when you gone, because they didn't miss you when you was here. Y'all only came to the party when I was down. Y'all ain't been coming around. Y'all come and sit around with me for 7 days, ain't got nothing to say. 7 days. And now as soon as I speak and open my mouth, then y'all want to go ahead and throw shade or really come to see what's going on. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And then try to teach me something that I've been living for 33 years. Huh? Still ain't turned my back on God. Even if you think I turned my back on God. I didn't turn away from God. I got closer and closer in every religion, in every book, and every study, and every research and developmental form to get closer and closer to him. He say, look, y'all got all the wisdom and all the books. We study the same books, huh? Yeah, all the history. That's how they came at him. Y'all, you better recognize. He said, yes, I know all that. You're not telling me nothing new. But how can a man, be truly good in the eyes of God? If God decides to argue with him, can a man answer every one question of the 1,000 he asks? For God is so wise and so mighty. Who has ever opposed him successfully? Suddenly he moves the mountains, overturning them with his anger. He shakes the earth to its foundations. The sun won't rise, the sun won't shine, the stars won't shine. If he commands it so, only he has stretched the heavens out and stalked along the seas. He made the Bear, the Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations in the southern zodiac. He does incredible miracles, too many to count. He passes by, invisible. He moves along, but I don't see him go. When he sends death to snatch a man away, who can stop him? Who dares ask him what you are doing? And God does not abate his anger. The pride of a man collapses before him. Even if I was sinless, I wouldn't say a word. I would only plead for mercy. And even if my prayers were answered, I would scarce to believe that he had heard my cry. For he is one who destroys, multiplies my wounds without cause. He will not let me breathe, but fills me with bitter sorrows. He alone is strong and just. He has the last say so. But am I righteous? My own mouth says no. Even if I were perfect, God would prove me wicked. And even if I am utterly innocent, I dare not think of it. I despise what I am, innocent or evil. It is all the same to him, for he destroys both kinds. He will laugh when calamity crushes the innocent, and the whole earth is at the hands of the wicked. God binds the eyes of the judges and let them be unfair. If not he, then who? My life passes swiftly away, filled with tragedy. My years disappear like swift ships, like the eagle that swoops upon its prey. If I decided to forget my complaints against God, to end my sadness and be cheerful, then he will pour even great sorrows upon me, greater sorrows. For I know that you will not hold me innocent, O God, but will condemn me. So what's the use of trying? Even if I were to wash myself in purest water and cleanse my hands with lye to make them utterly clean, even so you would plunge me into the ditch of mud, and even my clothing would be less filthy than you would consider me to be. And I cannot defend myself, for you are no mere man as I am. If you were, then we could discuss it fairly. But there is no umpire between us, no middleman, no mediator to bring us together. Oh, let him stop beating me, so that I no longer live in terror of his punishment. Then I could speak without fear to him and tell him boldly that I am not guilty. I know many have heard, my daughter have heard me say that. You wait till I get to God, huh? The reason why I done said this, is a hope of mine. When God keeps his promise, the reason why the ones who get left behind have to wait 1,000 years, because he going to be sitting, all the people that told me I talk too much, and do I ever shut up? He going to spend at least 500 of those y'all years talking to me, and explaining, going down the list. Yep. That's what I say. I feel like Job. I guess that's where I got this from, huh? I am weary of living. Let me complain freely. I would speak in my sorrow and bitterness. I would say to God, don't just condemn me. Tell me why you are doing it. Huh? Does it really seem right to you to oppress me and despise me, a man you have made a woman, and to send joy and prosperity to the wicked? Are you unjust like men? Is your life so short that you must hound me for sins you know full and well I have not committed? It is because you and no one can save me from your hand. You have made me, and yet you destroy me. Oh, please remember that I am made of dust, and you will change me back again to dust soon. You have already poured me from the bottle like a bottle of milk and curled me like cheese. You gave me skin and flesh to knit together bones of sinews. You gave me life, and you were so kind and loving to me, and I was preserved by your care. Yet all the time, your real motive in making me was to destroy me if I sinned. And you refuse to forgive my iniquity. Job was going in on God. Just the slightest wickedness, and I am done for. And if I am good, that don't count. I am filled with frustration. Hey, for anybody that get frustrated, just come and read Job. This scripture was made just for those. Huh? The word is your weapon. You don't have to go run and tell nobody. All you got to do is just read this right here out loud. Just put yourself in Job's shoes for a moment. Yet all the time, your real motive was to destroy me if I sin, and and to refuse to forgive my iniquity. Just the slightest wickedness, and I'm done for. And if I'm good, it doesn't count. I'm filled with frustration. If I start to get up off the ground, you leap upon me like a lion and quickly finish me off. Again and again, you witness against me and pour out your ever increasing volume of wrath upon me and bring fresh armies against me. Why then did you even let me be born? Why didn't you just let me die at birth? Then I would have been spared the miserable existence. I would have gone directly from the womb to the grave. Can't you see? Cradle to the grave. See how little time I have left? Oh, let me alone, and that I may have a little moment of comfort before I leave for the land of darkness and shadow of death, never to return. A land as dark as midnight, a land of shadow of death, where only confusion reigns and where the brightest light is dark as midnight. Wait a minute. What did he say? The brightest light is dark as midnight. Oh my goodness. Where that happened at? Where the lightest light is dark. He know that he ain't a sinner. He know that he innocent. But in his knowledge, there is a land, for death, where death and confusion reigns, where the brightest light is as dark as midnight. Oh my. Now here come his other friends, the last of his friends, the Zophars and let me say it properly, the Naamas. Let's see what kind of piety they got going on. Shouldn't someone stem from this torrent of words? I can't even stand going over there listening. I can't sit in they chat for one moment. No, I hear y'all, but no. It doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't get, wait, who I'm talking about? The Zophars and the Naamas. Shouldn't someone just listen to them in the back chat? Shouldn't someone stem from these torrent of words? Is this man proved right by all of his talking? They are talking and talking every day. Have they did not one live yet? One day where they missed a live? Telling the same story in so many thousand of different ways, huh? Should I remain silent while you boast? When you mock God, listen now. Those supposed friends. Okay, shouldn't someone make you ashamed? Somebody need to shut her up. You claim you are pure in the eyes of God. Yep. Oh, that God would speak and tell you what he thinks. Oh, that he would make you truly see yourself, for he knows everything you've done. Listen, God is doubtlessly punishing you far less than you deserve. What kind of friends? Huh? That sound like a YouTube gang family. They came in teams too. The first set of friends told him how he felt. Who was them? The first type of friends, they was the Eli's. They came out of the tribe of Eli. You got the ones that came out of the Timmers. Then the next set of YouTube family was the Bildads and the Shuhites. Huh? Now the ones that destroyed everything from him, remember those were Chaldeans and the Sabians. They was blockers. Then the last set of friends that sat with him for a few days, the Zophars and the Naamers. They say, we tired of you talking. You talk too much, and look, you get what you deserve. Do you know the mind and purpose of God? Will you long searching, streaming, make them known to you? Are you qualified to judge the Almighty? He is as faultless as the heaven is high, but who are you? You ain't nobody. You can't even get your numbers up. His mind is fathomless. What can you know in comparison? You think you got so much knowledge, you always getting up here talking. We tired of you. His mind is fathomless. What can you know in comparison? His spirit is broader than the earth and wider than the sea. If he rushes in and makes an arrest and calls the court to order, who is going to stop him, huh? We will call YouTube police on you. We gonna go and look who gonna stop him, huh? For he knows perfectly all the faults and sins of mankind. He sees all the sins without Google searching, huh? Mere man is likely to be wise as wild donkeys and colts. Yep. Likely to be horn a man. Before you turn to God and stretch out your hands to him, get rid of your sins and leave all iniquity behind you. Only then, without spots of sin to defile you, you could walk steadily forward and come get this money, huh? And have a full panel like we do. God without fear. Only then can you forget your misery. Huh? It will all be in the past. All your life will be cloudless. You don't have to worry. Huh? We will send it to the clouds. Huh? Any darkness will be as bright as morning. You will have courage because you will have hope. You will take your time and rest in safety. You will lie down unafraid, and many will look to you for help. But the wicked shall find a way to no escape. There'll be no hope but death. Here go Job. Job said, now, instead of me feeling and saying anything extra anytime I feel like talking back. I'm going to use the word as my weapon. Here you go. Yeah, I realize that you know everything with your sacred bowls, and your oshums, and your holy oils, and all your art to being a creator. I know you know everything, I know that all of your research and development over the years and your mathematicianal scientism, and everything that comes out of your brain of the creator of stuff that existed before the foundations of this world. I know you know everything, I know that with you raising so fast, going from zero subs to 1,000 in 2 days, by different purchases of being under YouTube management or a partner, that you know everything. I know that you know everything. This is Job talking, not me. All the wisdom will die with you, though. Well, I knew a few things myself. You are no better than me. And who doesn't know these things you've been saying? I, the man who begged God for help, and God answered, have become the laughing stock to my neighbors. All the time. The laughing stock so much that I could be talking to somebody and thinking that we're having a private conversation, and the whole time they have a whole room full of people listening to me. And then they won't come and get on and sit with me on a panel, because they don't want to be classified with my crazy. Like that. That's how Job talking. Job said, you know what? It's okay. Yes, I am righteous. I am a righteous. And no man, and now the man they scoff at. No, listen, he says, yes, I am a righteous woman. I'm going to say it as I'm speaking, as I'm Job. And now am the woman they scoff at. Meanwhile, the one with 20,000 subscribers, rich, mock those in trouble, and are quick to despise all those in need. For robbers prosper. Go ahead and provoke God. It makes no difference. He will supply your every need anyway. Who doesn't know that the Lord does things like that? Ask the dumbest beasts, and he knows that it is so. Ask the birds, all those caw up there with their eagle wings. Ask them, and they will tell you. Or let the earth teach you, or the fish of the sea, since you so holy in the water. For the soul of every living thing is in the hand of God, and the breath of all mankind. Just as my mouth can taste good food, and so my mind tastes truth when I hear it. And as you say, older men are like wise men. They understand. But true wisdom and power are God's. He alone knows what we should do. He understands. And how great is his might. What he destroys can't be rebuilt. When he closes in one man, there is no escape. He withholds the rain, and the earth comes to the desert. He sends storms and floods the ground. Yes, with him, his strength is wisdom. Deceivers and deceived are both his slaves. He makes fools our counselors and judges. He reduces kings to slaves and frees their servants. Priests are led away as slaves. You have preachers right now wanting to step down all these times they've been up there, He overthrows the mighty. He's going to keep his promise. He takes away the voice of the orators and incites the elders. He pours contempt upon princesses and weakens the strong. He floods darkness with light and even dark shadow over the earth. He raises up nations and destroys it. He makes it great and reduces it to nothing. He takes away the understanding of presidents and kings and leaves them wandering, lost, and groping without a guide and light. Look, I have seen many instances such as you describe. I understand what you are saying. I know as much as you do. I'm not stupid. Oh, I, how I long to speak directly to the Almighty. I want to talk this over with God himself, for you are misinterpreting the whole thing. Yes, you are. You always have been. You are the doctors who don't know what they are doing. So please be quiet, that you would be your highest wisdom. Listen to me now, to my reasons for what I think and to my pleadings. Must you go on speaking for God when he never once has said the things that you are putting in his mouth? Does God want your help if you are going to twist the truth for him? Be careful that he doesn't find out what you're doing. You see, that's what's happening. Let's see how long I've been reading and manifesting Job. Be careful that he doesn't find out what you are doing. Or do you think you can fool God as well as men? Now you will be in serious trouble with him if you use lies to try to help him out. Doesn't his majesty strike terror to your heart? How can you do this thing? These tremendous statements you have made have about as much value as ashes. Your defense of God is as fragile as clay vase. Be silent now and let me alone, that I may speak, and I am willing to face consequences. Yes, I will take my life in my hand and say what I really think. God may kill me for saying this. In fact, I expect him to. Nevertheless, I'm going to argue my case with him. This, at least, will be in my favor and not in my, and that I am not godless to be rejected instantly from his presence. Listen closely to what I'm about to say. Hear me out. Who can argue with me over this? If you could prove me wrong, I would stop defending myself and die. Oh God, there are two things I beg you not to do to me. Only then will I be able to face you. Don't abandon me. You ask a man that. You can't ask a man that. Don't abandon you. A man will abandon you and say, nah, I will stand by you in one point, but I won't stand by you on this point. But God is going to keep his promise to me. He ain't abandoned me yet. And don't terrify me with your awesome presence. Call to me to come. How quickly I will answer. Or let me speak to you and reply. Tell me what I have done wrong. Help me. Point out my sin to me. Why do you turn away from me? Why hand me over to my enemy? Would you blame a leaf that is blown about by the wind? Will you chase dry, useless straws? You write bitter things against me and bring me up all the follies of my youth. You send me to prison and shut me on every side. I am like a fallen, rotten tree, like a moth-eaten coat. How frail is man? How few is his days? How full of trouble? He blossoms for a moment like a flower and withers. As the shadow of a passing cloud, he quickly disappears. Must you be so harsh with frail men and demand accounting from them? How can you demand purity from one born impure? You have set mankind so brief a span of life. Months is all you give him. Not one bitter long, nope, not one bit longer may he live. So you give him a little rest, won't you? Turn away your anger and gaze and let him have a few moments of relief before he dies. For there is hope for a tree. If it's cut down, it sprouts again and grows tender new branches. Though its roots have grown old in the earth and its stumps decays, it may sprout and bud again with a touch of water like a new seedling. But when man dies and is buried, where does his spirit go? As water evaporates from a lake, as river disappears in drought, so a man lies down for the last time and does not rise again until the heavens are no more. He shall not awaken nor be aroused from his sleep. Oh, that you would hide me from the dead and forget me there until your anger ends. But mark your calendar to think of me again. If a man dies, shall he live again? This thought gives me hope, so that in all anguish I eagerly await sweet death. You would call and I would come, and you would reward all I do. But now instead you give me a few steps upon the stage of life and notice every mistake I make. You bundle them all together as evidence against me. Mountains wear away and disappear. Waters grind stones and sands. Torrents tear away the soil. So every hope of man is worn away. Always you are against him, and then he passes off the scene. You make him old and wrinkled, and then send him away. He never knows if his sons are honored, or they may fail and face disaster. But he knows it not. For him there is only one sorrow and pain. Now here comes his friend again. Here go his friends again. They come back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to save this for later. I'm going to rinse off those bags because this happened to me before. These bags came in the door and all of a sudden my body just started feeling funny. So I'm going to rinse all of that stuff. I washed my hands, but I did breathe in whatever. So I'm going to rinse those products. And then I'll probably come back. If my internet is back up, then I'm still going to come back and finish off Job. I'm liking what I'm reading today. Greater light. I appreciate anybody that has come by and stopped by and listened. Remember that your mind is God's mind. You will reflect divine wisdom and divine intelligence if you remember that you are created in his image, that you were created before the foundation of everything that exists here. Your mind is God's mind. You're always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence. Your brain can symbolize the capacity to think wisely and spiritually, and God's ideas will unfold in your mind in perfect sequence. You'll always be poised, balanced, serene, and calm, knowing that God will provide a perfect solution to all your needs. Even as Job went through all of that he went through, he was poised with it. He had a peace about it, serene about it, and calm. When he opened his mouth to speak to God, his friends gathered around. They waited. They couldn't wait for him to open his mouth. At the first scene, they told him, you get what you deserve. There ain't no way in the world you innocent. And then you open your mouth, we can hear you ain't innocent. Look how you talking. It's written in the court documents. All his friends, they all at different positions. Huh? Some of them couldn't stand to hear him talking about the same thing. The first thing they want to say, look at, void, you still at it. Huh? The Naamas. Oh my gosh, no, I can't be over there in sinner chat for long. It doesn't resonate with me. Let me do my bowls. But at the end of it all, I'm just reading Job's story and how it resonates with me. Your mind is God's mind. You'll always reflect divine wisdom and divine intelligence. Your brain will symbolize the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas will unfold within your mind in perfect sequence. No matter what the situation is, you always be poised, balanced, serene, and calm because you know God has provided the perfect solution to every single one of your needs. You could say amen, amen, I'm going to say God, keep your promise. God, you promise. You say Selah, I say God, you promise. God is going to keep his promise. You just watch. You just watch. Greater light.